Welcome to Toffee TV. It is live at 5. We're a little bit late, but that's fine. That's fine.
Other things are going on this year.
Been busy. You've been to Manchester to see Roy Keane.
I have.
You know what I mean?
Me and Roy.
You and Roy. I seen a picture of you, Bob. You could be the new ITV cop drama.
I think so. Keane and Cass.
Keane and Cass.
Works.
Keane and Cass.
It works for me.
Investigating murders on the Isle of Man. Yeah. Tax fraud and murders on the Isle of Man. There's a lot more tax fraud than there is.
Not that he does either, but you know.
I mean, you've literally just thrown one of our patrons under a bus, which could be a storyline.
That could be a storyline.
Man who walks a lot goes missing. Was it because of tax fraud or was it because he was thrown under a bus?
Hopefully
Six-part drama.
Hopefully not before he's come to Liverpool and been to Moose for his breakfast.
Yeah, make sure you go do that first. Come to ITV this autumn. Keane and Cass. Or Cass and Keane. Oh, Cass and Keane's not.
No, Keane and Cass is all right.
Yeah, Keane and Cass is
all right.
And he'd go and he'd be like investigating, but he'd also take his dog for a walk at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dog in the back. Because it's very flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's why motorcycles love it so much.
Yeah, as well.
You know.
Maybe that could
some
be.
gruesome story with the Isle of Man, you know.
I was going to say.
You know, like sometimes on that TT, they just die.
Yeah.
And they just left.
They're just left because no one can clear them up because there's too much going on.
Yeah, there's too much going on.
That's why.
And it's in the middle of nowhere. There's no one even there, though.
No, they found them.
These fans. Like, there's
another
one. Dave. Another one, lad.
Where's Big Jimmy? That'll be Roy. We found another one.
There you go. There you go. What a start.
If anyone from ITV, any writers are looking for an idea, there you go.
Just that could even be, even if that wasn't like a drama show, that could be like, like the way you've got these like travel shows now becoming very much in vogue.
Yeah.
You know, you had the...
Could you have like Keane and Cass, like on a boat for a couple of days somewhere?
Keane and Cass do...
The Danube or something, and Roy's just moaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh yeah, but what about this?
Or you two do all like the modern trendy places, and it's just about the pair of you moaning at modern stuff. Modern like trendy stuff. You're like, yeah, I don't like this. Yeah. And you're like, I know, Roy. What's going on here, Zachary's lad? What's all that about? And he's I don't mind a strawberry daiquiri now and again.
I mean, I don't quite think he's like that either.
I don't know anyway.
I still think Ped and Cara. Ped and Cara go large, it'd be a good one.
But I have to be doing his voice.
You have to be. No, but
obviously. So be like, so Ped, I think we should go to Louvre. And I'm like, I think we should go to the Arc de Triomphe, Cara. What do you think? Should we go see Messi playing at the Parc de Paris?
That'd be a good show, that.
I think it would be.
Very niche.
Carragher and Ped do Paris.
Yeah. Be very niche, but Cara, it'd have to be Cara. You're getting Ped, he's got to get Cara.
Right, Cara and Ped.
Ped and Cara, Cara and Ped. Yeah. Cara and Ped again, same with Keane and Cass. Yeah. Let's get into it. Jay.
Obviously for him.
Yeah. Jay is in at number 1, Gary Ward, Paul Livesey. Pip says, is today the day it all changes? Have you been paying attention to this TikTok traveller from the future who's apparently said that aliens land on Earth today and then there's an intergalactic war in 2025?
Well, hang on. What are they doing for 3 years? Or 4 years?
Waiting for Bramley Moor to be built.
Is that what they're doing?
They're waiting for Bramley Moor to be built. Then that season, Everton are amazing.
And that's when we always know.
There's a week to go. We're just about to win the league. Intergalactic.
You don't start wars unless Everton are winning something. You don't.
So that's why nothing's been going on.
You know what I mean?
They've been going, we're ready to go, sir. And they're like, no, mate, Everton. Have you seen him? Everton just, Everton
are rubbish, lads.
Come on.
You have a period of peace. Well, if anyone's watched the Tomorrow War, they know that the war actually starts in the World Cup final in 2022. There's a big thing while they're playing. Brazil are playing full kit, and the other team like nondescript. You can't quite tell who they're playing. So they've already banked on Brazil. Stereotyping that, I feel.
No, just look at going Richarlison and people like that.
They're playing, and the next minute there's like a flash of light, and all these people going, "We've come from the future. There is a war. We need you." And people are going,
"Can we just finish the match first?"
And people are like, "What are you on about? What? It's the World Cup final in Qatar.
Why wouldn't you just let the game finish though? Why do people always interrupt when there's still like a bit to go?
And surely,
should we go in? I'll tell you.
Surely they're from the future. They will have known what the result is. So they're ruining it for somebody.
Maybe they think the game's crap. Maybe they've seen it and they know the game.
But what I thought about that film is that obviously an American film, but fair play for not going. The Super Bowl's the biggest deal. Fair play for going. The World Cup is the biggest thing. Because if you want to come in,
could it be Brazil v America in the final? Brazil USA.
They were like in Navy. So
USA do win Navy kit.
Maybe. But they've recognised the fact that we're going to come from the future and we need to have the biggest audience. That's why they do it. They come in
currently the World Cup.
And they go. So fair play to them. Imagine they just come in on like American Idol, just in there and they run over to Paula Abdul or someone and go, "We need you in the future," and she's like, "Sorry, love, opposite attract. I can't come."
Well, they would be.
Carl's Keks are up here somewhere.
Wouldn't they be opposite if they were from the future and there?
Well,
maybe.
Fair enough.
George Doherty said, "Ped, thanks so much for your tweet about the men who sold football. We need to share this for everyone to watch. Great bit of."
Have you watched it?
You know what, I didn't, but I've got it to watch. I will watch it.
Of course I will. You said that about Hello, 1980.
Shut up.
Still on the pile.
Quality.
Yeah, it's basically a documentary made by Al Jazeera about how snide companies in the 90s and ever since are trying to buy football clubs to money launder, and there's a section on Everton and Fortress. And Chris Samuel and all that kind of thing. Very interesting. Paul Gregg's on it.
Is he? Yeah.
James
White says, "Evening lads, hope you're well. Put my first ever offering on my first house today, so fingers crossed. No my luck, I'll sign the contract and there'll be a hidden term where I have to take Delphon for the remainder of his contract."
Well, you should do that though, that you're taking one for the team there.
Yeah.
If you do that, put him in the loft. Just put him in the loft.
You might do maybe something else he's good at, you never know. Delph on the shelf. Phil McCauley, I live at 5. Gray Lead says, "My mate works for Everton in the Liver building, says none of the staff have received their season tickets either. Thinks everything will be okay regarding that though, as in everyone should get them before Saturday."
Yeah, of course they will.
Mike says, "When the 6 Premier League teams had their Super League hosts burst by fans, there was a removal of several representatives on the Premier League committee that were associated with those teams. I believe this news was made very public at the time. Does that have any benefit from us? I'm not hearing anything. Do they have any influence over the Premier League sustainability rules?"
It doesn't matter, does it? I don't know. Everton aren't really pushing any influence, are they?
Yeah.
You know, the club that said they were going to be the people who stick out the chest, and now we can't spend a fiver. Yeah. So well done, Everton.
Richard Folk says, "Right back, that is all."
That's all it is.
Danny Monnick says, "I'm getting so sick of the abuse on social media. Somebody did a tweet today and it had nearly 100 replies, most of them openly abusing Iwobi. Rate a player or don't rate a player, that's sound, but Iwobi's a nice lad, never done anything to disrespect the club. He could have had 38 awful games next season, but I'd still support him and back him to the hills because he's an Everton player. Isn't that the way it should be? Tell your mate he's crap, but putting it on social media where he might see it, let alone atting him, is just a disgrace for any Everton player who's never disrespected the club. Not only is it abuse and horrible, but what are these people trying to achieve? Who'd want to play for a club where the majority of the fans abuse you? Do they expect an improvement in his performance? Something has to change." Where do you stand on people putting things on social media and atting the players?
I don't think you should ever at the player. But I also feel that should be able to talk to people on social media and go, "I think he's rubbish." Like, I've openly said this week, I think Iwobi's the worst player Everton have ever bought.
Actually, I disagree.
Well, that's fine. But that I'm not abusing him.
No,
what I'm saying is, I think he's the worst player, pound for pound, Everton have ever bought. That's just the way it is.
Just the way it's worked out.
35 million.
He's quite clearly not a bad footballer.
35 million for a player who scored 3 times and has got about 4 assists is terrible, as far as I'm concerned. That's just me showing. Now, if people just want to go, "He's crap," or "He's crap," I don't really have a problem with that. It's when it becomes personal abuse is different. Yeah. Personal abuse is going, "You're crap," and that means that you're an absolute whatever.
Get out of our club.
Don't act them. There's players I would love to get out of our club, and it's not because of the way they play. It's because their attitudes are horrendous, and you know that they don't care and they're not interested and they don't really want to play. That to me is worse.
Yeah.
But Each to their own, but
No, but just
obviously, what's happened is, social media now is this thing of like people do not understand. People are growing up not understanding that we all have a certain element. Everyone's got to have a certain element of respect for each other, which means you mightn't like somebody, if you didn't like someone in school, right? You didn't walk up to them every day and go, "You're a knobhead." I mean,
some people did because they were bullies.
People did it to me, but no one for the most part. If you didn't like someone in school or they weren't your mate, you didn't walk up to them and go, "These are the reasons why I don't like you." Yet that has become acceptable on social media for everything, right? Yeah. That thing, like if I'm watching something on telly and I go, "This is rubbish," I wouldn't never go, "I just switched thing on for 5 minutes. It was absolutely terrible." I'd just go, "Oh, yeah, next thing." Or even if I didn't look, you
wouldn't look up who the director is and go and find him and at him, would you?
Exactly. Or even if you didn't like the look at something, you go, "I'm not watching so and so. It looks absolutely terrible. You're an idiot and you're a knobhead and all this." You just go, "Sound." Problem is that's starting to now. I think it's starting to cross over into real life, where that is starting to happen, where people don't know how to talk to each other. So it becomes like people don't know how to talk to each other. So there is that. We've lost communication, so people do feel like now they can go to people and say bad things and then don't understand that they will be punched in the face. Or we've seen other things that are happening now with stabbings and stuff. I know that's a way over there way of looking at it. Just got to get back to the thing where it's like, if you think, don't tweet everything that crosses your mind. I think that's the number one rule. Don't tweet. I don't though. I don't tweet things that cross my mind.
I honestly think sometimes you tweet stuff without thinking about it.
No, I don't. I always think about it. I always think about it.
That makes it worse.
No, it's not.
You are inflammatory.
Yeah, because I'm not being funny, right? I tweeted something the other day about people if stop moaning about not going to match and get the vaccine, because they should, right? I think people, and my dad hasn't had the vaccine. I think people who haven't. No, I've got no problem. People, for me, right? You're a danger to society, and that's my personal opinion. And I've got no problem telling people that.
But I think.
But if people,
that's your opinion,
yeah,
right? And people will have opposite opinions of that, right? Doesn't make you a dickhead, doesn't make them a dickhead, right? Doesn't, whether you think it or not. But I think too many people now come down on one side. And you're guilty of this, and I'm your mate, but I can tell you this. You're guilty of this sometimes, of coming down on one side. And other people do it, lots of people do it. And this isn't about you, this is about any subject. People will come down on like an opposite side. It's like you saying, Iwobi, in your opinion, for the money Everton have spent, has been one of the worst signings just for what we've got back. Yeah. But other people will be polar opposite to you and go, "You're not an Everton fan for saying that. That's a disgrace," but blah, 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 right? And they're wrong as well, because it's just your opinion and it's just their opinion. My feelings on Alex Iwobi is he's a good footballer. Quite clearly, he's a Premier League footballer. If we went and played footy with him, we wouldn't get near him. Of course we wouldn't. Right? But he hasn't quite worked out.
But I'm not insulting him by saying that.
No, you're not. I'm just talking in general. Yeah. And what I'm saying is, for whatever reason, it ain't worked at Everton. Yeah. It hasn't worked. So, we could sell him if an offer come in, and he could move on and do well. He could move on and do poorly. I don't know what's going to happen with Alex Iwobi. And there's other people in other walks of life doing actors, singers, models, whatever you do, right? But too many people, for whatever reason, come down, right, on one side of the fence. But it's almost, I seen a comment yesterday, so on one of, just like one comment on a thing of like, you change your mind on players, right? The comments underneath was, why are you still going on about Tom Davies? Well, we've never changed our mind about Tom Davies, a good squad player. But people want us to change our mind on one hand, and the next person next to it doesn't want us to change our mind on anyone. And that is the problem. There's too many definite. No. You just have to kind of.
The way I look at someone like Alex Iwobi is, and clarify what I say there, is if I was watching a film and I didn't think someone was right for the part, I'd go, I don't think he's right for this part. He's not.
Doesn't mean he's a crap actor.
For me, I don't see him as James Bond. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
But there's no need to start insulting people.
Yeah.
Unless the Tory MPs.
And that's with everyone though.
Yeah.
Should be. That's with everybody. Not just like one thing. Do you know what I mean? So there you go. Wildlife says Lukaku to Chelsea, 97.5 million. Transfer now confirmed.
Fair play to them.
Fair play. I mean, it's a good signing.
Very good signing.
You know, we know that. We know that they're definitely, you know, they're going to get him anyway. But Emmy says, do you think the Buta link is genuine? If so, do you know if he's a good right back? He looks decent. I don't know an awful lot about him. Plays for Antwerp, Portuguese, 24, I think. Very quick.
Yeah.
Looks decent 1v1. Can he do it in the Premier League? I don't know. He looks like a good crosser of the ball and he's fast. So therefore, it'd be an interesting signing if Everton could get him. What was it, 3 million? We've been quoted. I think that suits our budget right now. But there is other ones as well. There's not just one right back who we can get, is there?
I think the problem is, I mean, obviously Dumfries hasn't gone anywhere yet, and obviously there's a lot of talk about him going to Inter Milan. Everton have got to be smart, haven't they? They might look at the situation. I mean, obviously they're going to know. If they know Dumfries is on the way to Inter, then they might just draw a line under that. But they'll be working hard now to try and get players. It's gambling now.
Yeah.
You go and pay 3-4 million quid for a player that would definitely be less quality than Dumfries, or are you working all weekend to try and get someone out where maybe Monday morning you can go, we've got the money to get Dumfries now and we've been here. I think Everton, what they've done all the time is they've tried to keep themselves in the conversation to say, we're not going anywhere, we want him. We've set up a deal, but we have to get someone out. And I think everyone's almost pretty much aware of that. But they'll also be aware that if Inter Milan come in for him with money, straight cash offer, he'll go there. And that's where Everton have got. I don't know about this lad. I don't know whether this lad's a backup. I don't know whether, there's talk Celtic wanted him. But obviously, he might go now. There's talk of interest, hold fire.
Premier League
hold fire. You know what I mean? You could become a Premier League player.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's where Everton are. That's where cash win. That's cash is king. If you've got literally readies at hand, you'll always dominate the market. It's why Man City. It's why look at Messi, right? We've just seen one of the biggest transfers of all time in terms of just like the stakes and everything else, and putting Paris Saint-Germain into one of now. We were talking about before. It's like we were like Barcelona and Real Madrid. It's Man City and PSG now. I mean, look at PSG squad is frightening. So you look at that transfer and you go, literally, Messi, like that, says he can't stay. It's PSG are like, we're ready. We're ready. Now, there might have been other clubs in the conversation, but they're not ready. They've got to, well, if I move this fella out, and Man City just brought Grealish in, so therefore it would have been a complete vanity project. And to be fair to Pep, he doesn't do vanity. No. He does players who are ready to go.
Well, he wanted Messi last summer, didn't he?
Exactly. But if you're like a Spurs and you're going, well, we could get Messi, but we've got to get him out and we've got to move him. Paris Saint-Germain were like, we're ready, and that's what money does. And that's what money does.
And being cash ready.
Everton could have had so many players over the years, but when it came to the crunch, we didn't have the money, and the player couldn't sit round because they were good players. And when they're good players, there's always going to be two or three clubs in.
And that's what we're seeing now, aren't we? That's what we're seeing now. Darkheart says, what was Baz doing today? But now I was doing Premier League overlap fan debate. It was for the new season. That's what it's called. It'll be out.
You know what?
Tomorrow.
It wasn't even that he went, right? It was the fact that when he came back with the Mackies, and me and Ned were just like, please sir, may we have some of your Diet Coke?
You know what, right? You know what?
It was criminal, wasn't it, Ned?
It wasn't nice.
Didn't you feel that big?
Just give it to me then.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't you feel...
Sorry, hang on. Had you eaten lunch? I bet you had, because I had my breakfast at 8:10 this morning.
I just would like
and
to
I didn't have another thing until 3:30.
I'd just like to be offered.
I didn't think at 3:30 you wouldn't have eaten.
To McDonald's.
Sorry.
What do you want me to bring a drink and for just a coffee? Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Apologies, boys. I was doing that with Gary Neville, Roy Keane and Jamie Carragher. Be out tomorrow.
I think you've dropped something there.
Be out tomorrow.
Baz, you dropped something there.
Hang on, mate.
Sorry, it's some names.
Where are we? Oh, he was asking. I was answering there. Make sure you hit the like button. Where are we? EFC Graham says, I don't care a bit who the Everton manager is. If Rafa can get us to win something or at least challenge, that'll do me.
Yeah.
James Dunlop says 100% agree with that. Kieran Bramble says, hi lads, if you had the choice to see Everton play at any opposition stadium in the world, where would you pick?
Well, from the ones I've been to, it probably would actually be either the New Camp or the Bernabeu.
What are you dropping there? Oh, big name stadiums where you've been.
I've just been lucky. I'm lucky.
I'd be,
I've paid me up.
Signal Iduna Park.
Been there, have you?
Yeah. I'd love to see Everton.
I
there.
would.
It'd be amazing. Or Bayern Munich Stadium, like the Allianz now. Actually, no. I'd like Everton to play this season would be the Parc des Princes, just to see Messi and Neymar. I mean, I wouldn't because we probably get beat 11-0. But I'd love to imagine experiencing that. Be incredible. Everton fan says AFC Graham top man, I agree. Peter Collins says, are we doing a lap of honour with the cup on Saturday? Imagine it. Paul Wright says, all right lads, not football related, but does anyone know of any plumbing apprentice vacancies available, preferably in the Liverpool area? So if you need a plumbing apprentice, let us know so we can put Paul Wright onto it. It's always good to try and help other people out, isn't it? Most definitely. Cheers, Griff. What is this? The Recam B only one says, or there can be only one. It's because it's get together. Says, who's your favourite or the greatest comedy duo?
I mean, bloody hell. Cannon and Ball.
Cannon and Ball? They better than the two Ronnies or?
Morecambe
and Wise are classic. You don't get really, I suppose people would go like Ant and Dec now, wouldn't you? But you don't really get many like duos anymore, do you? Haven't done for it. I mean, Ant and Dec are probably the only one.
Telly's not like that anymore, though.
No,
it should be.
It has massively.
It should be
because it's good for them to.
What actually works,
isn't it? Yeah.
Should be. You should have telly on a Saturday night. Should be just like fun things, no matter what it is. You know what I mean?
Dick and Dom.
Like I've never been a massive fan of Ant and Dec. I don't know what it is. It's just I think more sometimes it's not them.
I do like Ant and Dec.
I think it's more sometimes the setups they're in. They're not. I just don't find the shows they're on appealing more than anything else.
I like Saturday Night Takeaway. I think that's fun. No, I never. It's just, you know why? Because it's just
Casualties on.
Exactly. It's just dead easy to watch.
No, that's what I'm saying. Why. That's what I'm saying. No, I don't know. There's probably American ones that they've probably got amazing.
Have they got duos though? I mean, I'm quite sure they have.
Yeah.
But I just mean that haven't like made.
I don't know. Again, they have like, because the way their TV works, and they have a lot of like late night shows. You have like the main host, and then you'd have all like normally like the bandmaster, or someone who just sits in a chair and just like they bounce off each other and stuff. People would probably say there's some classic ones of them. I don't know enough about them.
Cam's in the comments.
Is he?
Yeah, and we've got some truth to drop. Truth bomb about Cam, simply because he's put afternoon. Lads, how's your trip to Manchester, Baz? Yeah, it was sound, thanks, mate. He's currently there now.
Is he? Yeah.
Scoping out Scrans.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Take it away.
That's interesting because...
Ted or Ned, take it away.
I'll go with this one, and then I'll pass it over to Ned. So Cam, as everyone knows, Big Willie Cam, everyone knows, comes on the show, has his own channel.
Yeah.
Start of Radio 1 yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
He comes in, he's always talking about being hungry and I could scran this and I could scran that and blah, blah, blah. And, he created a reputation about himself. And, his girlfriend actually said to Ned on Friday night, off mic, does he tell you that he eats loads? And Ned was like, yeah, that's like part of his repertoire. That's like Cam's. That's a selling point.
That's why we're mates.
That's Cam's get up.
Yeah. Well, party day. It's like.
So I'm now the Scran champion.
So hang on, I haven't finished the story.
No.
I mean, you know what I mean.
Go on.
So it's basically his missus basically says he's a liar. At that point, Ned's eyes just was like.
I think a little bit of the love died at that moment.
Yeah.
For Ned.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Not a lot.
It is
just a little bit.
It's an interesting relationship.
It's a bromance.
It's
a proper bromance.
Well, she said
cowboys.
She said he's always starving, but
yeah.
So
basically,
Chinese,
what she said was,
sausage
Cam can't finish his dinner, and she has to finish it for him, which is I give it a lot of respect for that.
Yeah.
So Cam had been coming in here, giving it the big one. I eat this, I eat
Yes,
that.
it is, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, yeah, like Postman Pat's cat.
Yeah.
Coming in and saying, so I eat this and I eat that. And we were in awe of him at times. You know, that was his party piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I looked at him with it. I was just like,
Yeah, because
you are respect.
Yeah,
man.
because, I mean, the thing about Cam is, right, what is amazing about Cam, when you look at him front on, you know, you can see him. But when he turns to the side, there's not...
Difficult to see.
It's like a pole.
He could hide behind a lamppost.
Yeah,
easily.
or a brush.
Or a brush, yeah.
You know.
Trigger's brush.
He is Trigger's brush.
Yeah.
And so Cam had been, that was his big...
That was his get-up.
Got eyes bigger than his belly.
And she's destroyed it. She's basically
Jess
destroyed.
has unpicked
all his credibility is gone in that one moment. That one moment.
And you know what? It's now made me think. You know, when we played Pumas, and we were going to Achis, Mike and Achis or whatever it's called, for our scran, and Cam cried off.
Oh yeah.
I'm now thinking it was because he couldn't handle 2 scrans in 3 days.
No.
2 decent sized
Did he finish his sausage dinner?
No one saw it, did they? Because we finished ours first and had to come.
It's under the table.
He was out there in the bin.
Yeah.
So we come in here because we were getting ready to go live for the watching on.
Yeah.
And then he came in. Oh, it was lovely. That's grand.
He said,
I don't know whether he finished it. So now I'm thinking 3 days. He couldn't cope with 2 in 3 days. I'll hold my hand up when we were in Germany. I couldn't finish my pizza.
No.
I don't sit here going, bring us that table side. I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I struggled eating that McDonald's, probably because it was horrible. But I struggled eating it before. Where Cam would tell me he'd have that and another one.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm
Did you
saying.
finish that McDonald's?
I threw the last little bit away.
Oh my god. You didn't even...
I mean, that's a dagger in the half
Wow.
for me.
Cold,
I must admit, that's a dagger in the half for me.
But so what you're telling me is I've literally been Chevy chasing the 3 amigos there. When Martin Short wants a drink and sand, he's got sand.
But
and Chevy chasing putting lip balm on.
Cam's,
So it's
I think he's
the
finished.
aura's gone a little
Yeah,
bit.
He sent me a
Lovely
picture
lad,
of,
but the aura's gone a bit.
They went for an Italian last night,
Oh yeah.
and he sent me a picture of all it because they had like different courses.
Did he just eat
And he was
Ital
like,
and his missus
He
ate
said, I
Gillespie?
destroyed this, and I went, yeah.
Nah, you never.
Yeah, you never. The secret's out.
I said, send
The
us the
secret's
scraps.
out. You go when you're in restaurants. You go round to other people's tables and take pictures of their food and claim it's yours. We know.
Make sure you give the video a thumbs up
We know
because
the
we've
script.
been infiltrated and we never like that. Everton View says, Baz, I asked on an earlier show and Ped answered it. So age 25, who would you want in your team, Messi or Ronaldo? I'd want Messi because he's such a fantastic player. Cristiano Ronaldo is incredible, don't get me wrong. But I would want Lionel Messi just because he's just phenomenal and being phenomenal. And that ability to run with the ball and you want to see players slaloming through 4 and 5 players. Cristiano doesn't quite do that.
No.
He's power and pace and superb, looks after himself really well. But I think Lionel Messi is just an incredible footballer. Absolutely incredible footballer. Okay. Kevin FC says Richie, Dom and Gray should be the attacking trio on Saturday. What do you think about that?
I think it might be.
Yeah.
Or he might start one of either Richarlison and Dom and have the other one come off the bench, knowing that they're both not 100%.
Yeah.
You know,
Fair play. Basic Trig says Cam doesn't have the facilities for
he
that.
does
big
not
man.
have the facilities to be a
No.
big man.
No. Toothy Orifice says, I knew it. Of course, Cam was lying.
Yeah.
Can't finish his dinner.
Can't finish his dinner.
Oh, Cam.
Make sure, by the way, in the screen there, if you have a look underneath, hang on, you'll see all our new merch, and it's Boss.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, go and buy it.
I'm going to put the link.
The link's in the
comments for you,
description,
make it
and it's
super
all
easy
Boss.
for
We've got
you.
the new drum t-shirt. We've got the
Oh,
new
it's so nice.
number 9's Legends t-shirt, and we've
a
got
belter.
the Beatles Help one as well, which is apt, I suppose, for a lot of Evertonians. We've got more coming soon, but we've got t-shirts and mugs, and if you're a patron, you get discount. So it's worth becoming a patron. You get discount. We're gonna have hoodies and stuff coming soon as well for them as it gets chillier.
You know, I've just noticed for any drummers watching.
Oh yeah,
the drum head's even got the Remo logo on it.
yeah.
But they've been replaced with "Come On You Blues."
Yeah.
That is
I'm not-
detailed. to
Attention to
perfection.
detail, mate.
They
It's all
even
about
got
detail.
a Remo drum skin.
Of course
on,
it
that
has.
is boss.
Listen.
Remos are the best drum skins as
We
well.
knew when me and Baz sat down to design it. We did all this. We know all this.
We knew that.
We knew all
We had
this.
to look at everything, Ned.
Every detail.
Every detail, otherwise, what's the point? AJ says, watched Hereditary last night. Think Ned might have seen it. I have to say it's scary in a weird and quite creepy way, and you have to put things together throughout it. But it's a class movie.
It's not like cringy, cheap jump scares. Like, I just shut the bathroom mirror and
I just shut my bathroom mirror. Watch out, ghost.
It was just stuff that's like psychologically just stays with you, and it's just really creepy.
I'm a bloody ghost, aren't I? I'm gonna shut the window.
Exactly, that's what most horrors are like now, aren't they? It's like, I just turn around and there's a.
You know what I actually love?
It's not Paddy McGuinness.
Do you ever watch? Have you ever seen Ghosts on BBC?
Ghosts.
Ghosts.
Looks like Horrible History.
But it is Horrible History.
Is that what
It's all the people out of horror. It's brilliant. It's boss. It's all the. Did you ever watch Horrible History? Did you never watch?
I've watched Horrible
Horrible
History.
History. It's all the people out of Horrible Histories, right?
Amazing.
And they're all ghosts in this house, and the girl can see them, and no one else can.
Oh, okay.
And it's brilliant. It's so
I might
funny.
give it a go.
Honestly, you should. You know.
It's on the iPlayer.
It's on the third season, but it's dead funny.
Funny?
They're dead funny in Horrible Histories.
They're all, mate.
Horrible
Histories is
If
one
that
of
had
the.
been around when I was at school, mate, I'd have known everything.
Horrible Histories is one of the best shows.
Stupid Deaths is the best.
Yeah, Stupid Death.
I always liked him. He was in Gavin and Stacey.
Well, he was in this. He's at well, he was in thing. Yeah, wasn't he? He was in
Dino from Gavin and Stacey.
He was in Alan Partridge, the new one.
Oh, was he?
Where it's like he plays Thingo's boyfriend. Yeah, he was.
Looks a bit like.
That's him. He's like in this. He's like a Tory MP, and he's got no trousers, and it's like you don't know how he died and stuff.
Oh my god.
And the other day's episode, I won't ruin it, but there was a fella in the house, and they were all like, they all hate him, he's a neighbour, and they were all like desperately trying to get rid of him, because if he died in the house, they'd be stuck with him as a ghost.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they were all trying to get him out the house. They were like,
he
can go at any moment, get him out!
Kev L says, spent 3 hours on hold today to change my digital ticket to a card. Club had message on all week saying phone from Wednesday the 11th. Got through and they told me they couldn't do it by Saturday and to queue up at the box office. Why didn't it just say that on a message?
I'll be honest with people, right? How did you all not see this coming? Come on. How did you all not see this coming? It's Everton Football Club. Come on. Like, for the sake of a fiver, I got the card. Baz got the card. Because for the sake of a fiver, you just go.
Well, some people might have just thought it's easy. I don't have to carry. I always have my phone. I don't have a thing. I understand why some people did it, but it's one of them, isn't it? It's just a case of it. I think the issue is maybe, I don't know the ins and outs of what's happened with the football club in terms of testing this or whatever. But maybe, just maybe, Everton should have sent everybody a ticket last week. Even just a printed match ticket for this game, and which would have carried them through then till the Burnley game, the chance to actually test it or whatever. Or I've said try your phone this weekend. If it doesn't work, you've got your actual match ticket. Maybe that would have been a way to do it. Now it's very difficult because what you're gonna have now is for the football club, people who want them, and I know this because my mother-in-law's in exactly the same boat at the moment. They offered her a printed ticket, but you have to go and get it on Saturday from the box office. Well, that means you're going to have to get there about 12, and otherwise the queues could be ridiculous then. So it's a difficult situation.
For all we know, we'll get there and theirs will work and ours won't.
No, but whatever, we don't know, do you? But to be honest, the reason why I bought me and Zach one wasn't just because I was like, well, A, he hasn't got a phone, he's 10. So he hasn't got a smartphone. But B, I like having the card because it's just like a commemorative thing. I've moved stuff in the loft the other day. All my stuff's there, all my season tickets, my cards and pictures and tickets from games and I was looking through like loads of away games, all sorts of there. But I just like having the thing. But I understand that people, an extra fiver to someone might be able to afford it. I've got no issue with that. But I think what the club maybe should have done was, and I worked in a ticket office for a number of 10 years at Everton. Maybe last week, maybe they should have just done a print and run and said everyone a physical ticket for this game and gone, listen, we want you to try it on your phone, but if it doesn't work, you've got your match ticket, so the delay won't be. And gone, this isn't working, you've got to go to a steward and all that. You'd have something, but I don't know how much it's changed. But in my day, when I was at the thing, it would have just been a physical ticket printed. So you go on, log in, boom, 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 match ticket, bang, or who's a season ticket holders, send it all out. I don't know how difficult it is to do, but leaving it It's Wednesday now, and we kick off on Saturday, and people are saying they haven't got it. I mean, that, you know, it's not good, is it, for the first game?
What I don't understand is, what does that mean, though? What does that mean that they haven't got it? What are Everton's...
It's an electronic delivery, isn't it?
But what at Everton's end is stopping them from sending them out? That's the worry.
Yeah.
What is... Are they still...
Some have got them, though, you know.
Are they still... No, I know, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
What is... If it's
Because it's not like it's not a ticket that you have to post.
No, it's just a QR code, isn't it?
So,
that's all it is. So what's stopping them from just
I
sending them out?
honestly don't know. So
Are they having to be like run through the system so they work?
Must do.
That must be it, mustn't it?
It'll just be sequential probably, because that's the way you have to do
strange.
it. So, Steve Peace says, evening lads, can't be doing with all the doom mongers. I'm well excited for Saturday to get back in my seat after over 18 months, and hopefully we'll have the chance to see James, Alan, the Duke, and the new and improved Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Yeah. AJ says, I asked you yesterday about the most toxic atmosphere you've been at. But now I'm going to ask you about what's the best atmosphere you've experienced at an Everton game. Bayern Munich was mine, by far. By far. And as a kid, it stuck with me. I'll never.
Do you know what the best atmosphere I've ever been in for coming out was when we were coming out against Villarreal for the Champions League.
Walking out.
Oh my God,
it
was unbelievable. It was like crackling electric.
Yeah.
It was
incredible,
unbelievable.
The only regret is there was no Champions. I know it was a qualifier, but there was no.
But there was like a crackle. The fans were so up for it. And it makes me
so loud.
It makes me just, oh, imagine we could have a bit of that. But it was like, there was this crackle of us, like, there was just pure noise
ear piercing
at a level for the whole thing. It was just.
I wanted those, and like,
no, I did.
Just once.
Wanted to see it once, but no, that was amazing. But
Fiorentina was good, wasn't it? When Arteta scored, it was good.
Big games. You know,
Dunk said that against United.
Yeah, Dunk said
that against when we beat Liverpool.
Dunk went 94. Yeah, unbelievable.
Man United,
unbelievable.
95. Spurs, FA Cup at Leeds, incredible atmosphere. Rooney at Leeds when he scored, and I was kissing his dad on the top of the head and everything, and all of that. Great atmospheres, but for me, Bayern Munich tops the lot. Incredible atmosphere. Phil says, I think that gesture by the club for Richie was class. Alex says, Keane and Cass, two detectives, may break the rules, but they solved the case, even when the DA bust their balls. Yeah, there you go. Kevin says, any chance we can have an incognito Piv appearance to give us a rundown of the potential Aurelio Buta signing? No, he's likely slammed you in the window, but would appreciate his take. What, pixelate him? Give him the thing about Adams voice.
If we were to get someone like that, we will get Andy on for his take on the player, not on anything else. I think he would probably come on and give us just a take on a player.
This is what he could say.
You know, like any other expert would do.
Yeah. Dick L says, if Ned and Cam sailed to America and the ship struck an iceberg and sank, which one of them will be floating on the door and who'd be in the water freezing to death?
But we'd be both on it, because have you seen the actual thing that Rose is on in the film?
Yeah, they both could fit on the door quite easily. Why she doesn't invite him onto it?
I mean, to be fair though, he does try and climb on, and then the thing flips over, and he basically just says, don't forget, what you got to remember about that film is they've basically been running around solid for about 3 hours while that ship was sinking. You'd be knackered. They were running around, they were in the water was freezing. They were having to do this. Don't forget when they were on the ship, they were running through cold water. It would take its toll on you. I watched this program last night.
Quicker than a digestive
I watched this program last night on BBC One at 7 o'clock. I only had it on because I was just messing about, and and this program came on, and it was about this woman called the Mermaid, and basically, she just found that she liked swimming in cold lakes, right? Know that cold swimming?
Yeah.
So she liked it that much that one night she was drunk and she said, I'm going to do the Channel. So 6 months later, she'd done the English Channel. No problem. And then someone came to him and right, there's Arctic water games where you swim in Arctic water, right? Yeah. They got it in and she did it. And then someone came to him and went, we're looking for people to swim a mile. at the Antarctic. And she was like, it'll be in 3 years though. She's like, I won't have the money. So in the end, she got all these sponsors who sponsored her. She bought, listen to this, she bought a big open freezer, and she's just sitting in for an hour a day in this fridge. And she said, I have no problem with cold at all. She used to sit in this open chest freezer. And you've seen her, she had to fly to Argentina, get this boat for 3 days, get down there. And literally they'd be like, there's leopard skin seals in the water, you have to get out. Or there's or we can't go in. There's killer whales, we can't go in. They took her out a mile from the ship, and she had to swim a mile in
freezing
and
water.
No one had ever swum a mile that close to the coast, and she's only this woman from Wales. I just stumbled on this program last night in the iPlayer, if you didn't say it. I was like, how the hell? I couldn't swim a mile. I couldn't swim 50 metres now.
Have you seen Wim Hof swimming underwater and all that?
Wim Hof's gone on this woman.
That bloke loves the
She's
cold.
the normal woman from Wales who's just
normal fella from
just
Holland.
got a tolerance for swimming in cold water, and she swam. Literally, they were like, you got to be careful though that you don't swim into an iceberg.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
People are
How?
There was a documentary about that Hoff just having a game of chess in a freezer for an hour.
It takes people up with just a pair of shorts on, up and like minus 20. They've only trained for 3 days and they go up breathing, cold showers.
Deep
He's got the record for swimming the longest underwater, under ice, like 2.5 minutes.
He said to her, like, if you have a heart attack, we won't be able to
get you.
Won't be able to get you. They had a float, but they were like, if you have a heart attack and we can't get you, that's it. Just have to leave you.
Ricky Kane on the super chat. Nice one, Ricky. Says, Even and gents, hope you're both well. What are your predictions for the season? Personally, I'm not optimistic, but I'm hopefully proved wrong.
I'll be honest with you. I don't really have fantastic thoughts going into the season of like what we're gonna do. I really do think it's going to be a season where we find out a lot about the club, about the players, and about the manager. And it'll just have to be one of those things where you just, like, everyone's so quick now. All I'm hearing is he won't last till Christmas and all that. And it's like, we've got to, like, I think what we've got to do is limit our expectations so we don't get ahead of ourselves. I mean, we suffered Walter Smith, didn't we? And it was awful. It was absolutely awful every year. But it was like, the expectations were just like finishing 13th. Now, there's no need to have expectations like that this season. But there's also, we're sort of, again in that, we haven't built anything under Carlo Ancelotti. We've got players we don't really want at the club. This manager has to be allowed to bring his own players in. It's just not happened at the moment. So really, people should just lower their expectations, and that's, I'm saying this now, but you know what I mean. We all know what it's like once footy starts. But yeah, I think it's all about understanding where we are right this time, right now. And maybe the fact that we've only brought 3 players in and spent 1.5 million quid might do that for a lot of people. I don't know, but I think it's going to be a weird season. Because we're not really. I think last season, we thought we were in there. We'll try and get the Champions League. Worst case scenario, we'll get a Europa League, and if we don't, it'll be a bad season. Now I think we'll try and get a Europa League, and that's what we're going to be trying clinging on to. Yeah. And if we get a Europa League, it'll be a brilliant season, like a really good season.
I just think we'll be in the mix for a European place, but that could mean 6th to 12th. Because I think there'll be quite a few teams in that middle bracket. I think the top 4 are too far ahead of everybody. I really do. That's how it looks like right now. Seasons change and things can happen, and obviously you can take an opportunity. I think Leicester look the best of the rest right now, so you'd expect them to kind of be in a Europa League place. And then I look at Arsenal, Tottenham, and things could happen. Leeds, can they do the same? I was speaking to Nicky today from West Ham Fan TV, and he was like, we're going to struggle this season. Got no one in.
Bought anyone.
He said, got no one in. He said, we had a good run last season. We had Lingard. He said, and we've got Europe. He said, I can't see us really doing anything this season. So there's one, you know, and that's what he's saying. But then again, they might just repeat what they did, so you don't know. And I think we're in that at the moment. You said it before, I think, on a different show, that Everton could bring in 2 or 3 players. That changes that again, and we all kind of go, we've got a great chance now. Well, the big thing I would say is that we've still got the 2 lads up front who score goals. Yeah. So if we can tighten up at the back,
create more opportunities,
create more chances, then we've got a chance. And it's there for someone else to get themselves on the score sheet. Midfield don't score enough goals. No. The core, go and get your half a dozen that you used to get for Watford. Andros Townsend, if you're playing, can you get goals? Damari Gray, can you put it all together? Luca Dean, can we go back to the 4 and 5 you got in the first couple of seasons? That kind of thing can happen. Perversely, it could go the other way, but we don't know. But I honestly expect us to be in that 6th to 12th range, and it could play out anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
and that's
all it is right now.
And that's the Premier League now, isn't the Premier League now is, you know who the top teams are. You know who they are. They stand out like a sore thumb. And then there's the next lot. And the thing about it is that where people thought sort of Tottenham and Arsenal were moving into we're in the big 6, they've moved in with everybody else. And it's actually Leicester who may be pushing. So you do have a collection of clubs now who are in and around each other. And I'm not saying we are better or worse than in those places, but I think it seems but I think that's where we are at the moment.
I agree. Speaking today again at that fan debate and listening to fans of other teams, and you know, and listening to what the pundits are saying, and they're like, everyone's in that other bit are in it all together. You know, and it could play out whichever way it is. You know, there was Leeds fans there basically saying, we're not here to mess around. Then other people are going, are Leeds going to be the same now? Yeah, you've still got the same manager and you've got a thing, but the people know you now. Might be better at home, but away from home, so you don't know. Leeds could be much better. We might have second season syndrome. Everyone might go, these play, right, let's do this against them. We went and beat them there. Seems like West Ham went and won there as well. So Leeds could be great, they might be average. Villa, there was a Villa fan saying, yeah, we've got these 3 great players, but we've lost the reason why we're up there, which is Jack Grealish. So it could work one way, it could go the other. So I think we're all in there. I think there's question marks over all of them. Arsenal, have they done enough to propel themselves a game? I don't know. It's the reality. Wolves, one way or the other. Bruno Lage in charge now, not Nuno. What can they do? Spurs, if they lose Harry Kane, have lost the reason why they've been so good for years. They had them last season, and they had to win the last couple to grab themselves a better place. So I think we're all much of a muchness in that middle area. I really do. So it's a difficult one to call right now. I think it might be slightly easier at the end of the window when we can look and go, oh, look what they've done, or look what they've done. But if the window was shut right now, looking at what everybody else has done as well, I have Everton 6th to 12th. And they could finish as high as 6th and as low as 12th. So other people might see it differently, I don't know. Cinema Gamers says, are you optimistic for the season? I think it's the first season for a long time that expectations are lower than 0. Well, at the end of the day, if that's the case for so many people, then it doesn't really matter then, does it? If Everton finish 15th, then they'll be happy, won't they? Because that's what their expectations are. If Everton do what your expectations are, then you can't really moan about it. I don't see it that way, but maybe it's a good thing that a lot of people are kind of going, oh, well, not expecting anything this season, because we might actually, without the burden of that, treat every home game or every game like it's a bit like, I wouldn't say a cup final, but it's a bit like, this is a big game and the players need us. Maybe it's our year as a fan base actually pull the team over the line rather than us sitting there going, entertain me. Maybe they need us more the way Moyes teams needed us all those years ago. Yeah. To actually go, we actually need to get behind them here to pull them over the line, because they're not. We haven't got him and him. So
definitely.
Dan Stars 1 says home form will be far more important this season. Definitely. If Keane or Dom scores the first goal in the opening game of the season, we could have a good season. Yeah. Chris Warby says, just got to accept this season is all about staying within FFP and consolidate our position. then go next summer. This could be, for all we know, this could be year zero, couldn't it?
Mm.
You know, this could be the year where Everton don't spend a lot of money and things are brighter next summer when a few people have fell off as well, and because we haven't got the deficit of this year spending, and then it's up to the manager then and the crowd to get the most out of these players who are wearing our shit. Ryan says he's confident we'll get people out the door. I think the last week or so we'll be able to offload some players. I don't know. Astro says, sent my father-in-law, who's a United season ticket holder, those pics of Baz and Keane. Loved all the pics till he saw Carragher. Said it would have ruined him for it. AJ says, North Korea military. Kim, the US are threatening us. Should we send a nuke? Kim Jong-un says, what was Everton's score today and where are they in the league? North Korea military, they just lost to Sheffield United at home and it's 10th in the league. Kim says, nah, we'll wait until they start winning. North Korea military says, we could be waiting a while. Fair enough. Richard says, evening lads, see that arse clown Richard Masters saying that the Premier League remains the most competitive league and the top clubs aren't pulling away from the rest of the league. Guess that means the paymasters are happy and there'll be no adjustments made to the Premier League spending rules. AJ will do the songs tomorrow on the Patreon only lives. Dick says, was watching the Richarlison welcome back training video. It looked like everyone was there but couldn't see Big Dunk. He was also missing in America. Is Duncan having as large a role under Rafa? Well, he was on something the other day. He was. I don't, maybe he was inside or something when he done that video today or whatever. Phil says, I thought it was YouTube Wednesday, lads. Peyton's the best place for everything Toffee TV does. I wish we could have had an Agent Richie rather talking to Anthony. I think he's a good fast player who'd do well for Everton. Adam says, if we get some money, is there anyone at PSG who you take on loan?
Garner.
I think if you put Garner in that midfield with Decore.
What about, who's the right back that we were linked with last season that went there?
Colin Dagba, young lad.
Yeah.
Didn't Florenzi go there?
Florenzi, oh, you're thinking of him, Florenzi, but Colin Dagba's the one who we were linked, the young lad, who's quite quick. He's one.
So is Florenzi on? Was he on there on loan or?
Didn't he come from Roma? Florenzi.
Yeah, but is he there on loan? Or
no, they signed him.
Well,
Colin Dagba would be.
Wonder where Draxler will go.
He
can't have
is he out of contract? No, he's not out of contract, but he
was
could
meant
go.
to be amazing in money, and he's just.
He can't have a future. Well, he went there, and he should never have gone there.
They've got Ferrati, they've got Herrera, they've got Garner, they've got Wijnaldum.
Yeah, Wijnaldum's going to be the number one centre midfielder with Verratti, isn't he?
Yeah. Jay Fairenrader says, do you know how some people are cursed whenever they buy a player's shirt, they immediately leave? Could we not get these folks to buy up the Delph stock? Delph. Interesting. Gaz says, last day at work before a week off, on holiday on Friday. Season starts Saturday, so I'll at least enjoy 2 days before Everton step in. But that's just negativity from experience. Hopefully they will surprise me. Danny says, that's why I think Ted Lasso's such a good show. It reminds you that footballers are just humans that have a job. Derek says, hello guys and hello Gary. Yes, I'm still plodding on. Be enjoying all the programming and especially Ned and his cover recordings. Well done, Ned. Circle of Trust. All three shirts are available in other places. They are. Now Iwobi bothers me. After last season, I never expected to see him in blue again. Now as Benitez seems to have to pick him, does that really tell us how our squad is? I bet he starts Saturday. Baz, I usually agree with most of your player analysis, but Iwobi, we differ. If he deserves to wear the blue, that Kendall, Harvey, Ball, Reed and the 95 Dogs proudly pulled on and hunted Goodison opponents till they dropped. Maybe I should dig my boots out again. Yeah, but I could say that about Cuca Martina and people like that. Can't really hold those players. Can't hold that against other players, can you? Iwobi obviously is a good football player. It's just, does he fit Everton? It comes with everything. It comes down to everything. You see a player and you can buy a great player. Like, but also about Harry Kane going to Man City. But Harry Kane might go to City and it not quite work out. Could go there and be amazing. But, you know, we've seen that with Romelu Lukaku. We left Everton and went to United who needed a striker, and everyone was like, that's him now. Remember when he went and scored a few goals at the start, and people were like, he's at a big club now, he's going to do this, that and the other. No one was really bothered when he got off to Inter.
Everyone do us a favour, right? Go into your app store and download the Ultimate Fan app.
Oh, is it out?
Right? That's the new game we're going to be playing instead of Toffee Picks. Right? There is an app. So if you're on our Twitter, I've just retweeted the Toffee Picks tweet with the link to the new game. It's actually like it's instead of having picks, like a fantasy football thing we're doing this year.
How many players?
Is this 5, 6?
5 or 6 players, is it?
Yeah, I think. And that's what we're doing. So weekly, you'll pick a team weekly. So the app is there. Ultimate Fan. Yeah, it's there. It's in. That's Android. Is it in? Check.
Apple.
Ultimate Fan. All one word. Ultimate Fan. Do that for us. That's the new game where you can win stuff like last season with Toffee Picks. So if you get over there and check that out for us, we'll be doing a video and stuff on it. But while you're all here, Ultimate Fan.
Okay, I've got it. Yeah.
There you go.
You'll have to answer this for me.
Go on, okay.
Right? Paul Corrigan says, Baz seems to be very intolerant or dismissive of disillusioned fans. I think most are like that, and there's every reason to feel that way. Am I intolerant or dismissive of disillusioned fans?
More intolerant than dismissive.
Yeah, I'm not dismissive because I feel disillusioned as well.
Yeah.
But what I would say is, I don't think I'm I think what I look at it like is, if you feel that way, see, I couldn't moan and feel the way a lot of fans, well, not a lot, because I only see a few on social media, but a way few people seem to feel and still go to match. Because I would just think this is gonna damage me, my health, mentally and physically. People moan and cry and whinge about something that's a sport. At the end of the day, you're doing it because it's a hobby, and you're always after. If you've got no hope, but Pet, if you've got no
I've
hope,
got no hope.
Then why'd you go? What's the point?
I've got no hope.
If you've got no hope, what's the point?
I've got no hope.
So what's the point then? I'm asking you.
I don't go to the match to see Everton win games, because if that happened, I would have stopped ages ago.
So what do you go for?
For all the reasons in the world, but I certainly don't go because I think Everton are going to win.
No, but you go because you hope they might win the games.
Well, you hope they're going to win, but I don't actually have any hope that Everton are going to win anything, because I just don't.
No, I'm not talking about
I
winning.
shed that expectation a long time ago.
No, I've shedded winning the league because I know that right now it's ridiculous.
People just go to match to because it's what they do. You know, it isn't just a sport to people. If it was just a sport, you wouldn't be asked. It's a life for people.
So a life without hope.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think I'm intolerant or dismissive of fans. I think I understand everybody's anger. I've been 26 years ago walking out of Wembley. If you'd have said to me, it's 26 years, because we just walked out having won the Charity Shield, by the way, around now. If you'd have said to me 26 years, Everton still won't have won another thing, I'd have just been like, shut up. Because don't forget, when we won the FA Cup, it was only 8 years since we'd won the league, and that felt like an eternity.
I just think...
And every year, I understand the way it is. I'm the one who wanted the Super Six to go.
I just think for a lot of people, it's just become, you know, you go to match, obviously, a lot of it is... tends to be like habit for a lot of people. I don't know. I just think that football is changing around us, and Everton just can't keep up at any stage. Like, it's like Everton haven't caught up with some of the things that football clubs used to do. Never mind the stuff they do now.
Yeah,
and it's really hard to be. It's demoralising, isn't it? It's demoralising when you look at your football club just continually get things wrong. Look at the ticket situation. It's like, I mean, we you know, it could all be all right on Saturday, and I imagine it, for 95% of the people it will be all right. But unfortunately, it feels like when Everton do something, they never quite get it right.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, that wears them down. But also, if you've been going for so long, you deserve to be there when they do get it right. I think that's what keeps people going.
Well, that's fine.
And you could say that is hope, and that's fair enough.
You've got to have that hope.
Hope manifests itself in different ways, though.
Hang on. The thing about it is, you see me. You know what I'm like.
No, I know, but...
So for people to say I'm dismissive or intolerant, when I whinge and cry and moan as much as anyone, don't I?
No, I know. I think it's just like, I think there are... This is the longest period of time any of us have never been in the match for in our lives. And I think things might feel a little bit... It feels like it's out of control. You're out of control when you're not at the game.
Yeah.
When you're at the game, you feel like you've got a tiny bit of control over what happens on the pitch. I don't know why. Because you don't.
Because you're involved.
You don't. Yeah. But you don't. You know, you feel like when you're experiencing something. You know, you're not just watching something. You're experiencing something. Yeah. Things feel a little bit different. So when people get in there on Saturday, they might feel a hell of a lot better. But unfortunately with Everton, we've got this terrible track record that we've had literally since day one of the Premier League, where we just seem to get things wrong. But it's not even about seeming to get things wrong. It's about, from our point of view, they get it wrong and then they never do anything about it.
Yeah. No,
and the problem with Everton is, final point is,
go on.
We are just like a club of weird opposites. On one hand, we're building this stadium, right, which is going to be the biggest project in the country, if not Europe, in the next 3 years, right? Which everything seems to have gone, since they changed it up, since the other fella left. Everything seems to have gone really smoothly, and they've done it the right way, and everything is moving in the right direction.
And they're going to be market
leaders. And in 3 years, it's going to be fantastic. And you look at the owner and you say, thank you, Farid Mashiri, you've done amazing. You've given it this platform. Anyone who watched the videos the other day, when he asked Bill Kenwright about it, and he just went, couldn't have happened without Farid, couldn't have happened without his money, couldn't have happened without his assurances, every step of the way. Amazing. And on the other side of that, you've got a football club that spent £500 million to go absolutely nowhere. And you're like, how are these two things connected? How did this happen?
I had to sit in a fan debate and listen to Everton getting put in to the same conversation as Newcastle and Leeds and Villa. Well, I think we probably are with Aston Villa, and Sheffield Wednesday were mentioned and things like that. And I'm like, hang on a sec. I had to stop them and say, hang on. Everton have won more league titles than City and Spurs put together, by the way. And they were like, oh, yeah, but that was when, and all that. Which they're absolutely right. It was years ago. So no one needs to tell me where Everton's standards should be. My standards are still 85. When I was a kid and I started watching. So when I'm saying, sat here going, Everton can be in the fight for 7th to get in the Conference League, that to me is everything inside me is screaming, what are you talking about? What do you mean 7th? First, you want? First? When I played, and I even playing Sunday League, teams would go, there's a couple of teams. I'd be like, no, mate, I want to play for the team that's going to win the league. I want to play for a team that might finish 3rd or 4th. That's not a good season to me. Winning the league's a good season.
Saying first for someone my age, though,
I
agree with you, but it's mad.
Of course it. Ned.
First is impossible.
Saying first.
City can get first.
Saying first now to myself seems impossible, but I'm saying to you that me sitting here and going 7th just sounds nuts. Honestly, 7th. Just think about that. 7th. What the hell? 7th.
Even under the David Moyes days, we'd be like, come on.
5th, 6th under Moyes. It's just that everything's changed. So
don't we have to get that? But don't we have to get that balance right at the football club first to before we can move on to having those expectations? It's just like, if the football club just if it can start showing that it does things right.
I was just responding to Paul because I'm as disillusioned as you are, right? But what I try to do for my own mental health is step outside the emotional side of it and look at the squad and look at if I go into Goodison Park on Saturday, having not been there for 18 months, and I'm fuming that we haven't signed Leon Bailey, and we've got Rafa Benitez in charge, and we've got this and we've got that. Before I've stepped foot in the ground, I'm going to be negative immediately. And then I'm not going to get any joy out of watching Everton play. And that's what I'm saying.
You
And
have
if it made me that angry and that wound up and disillusioned, I think I would stop.
You have to put those things to the side, don't you, once you walk into the ground? They're for like the things you talk about all week. But I do feel like fans have got a right to be angry. I'm just saying. I do think fans have got a right to be angry and disillusioned with what has happened at this football club, because spending 500 million on this squad or more or whatever we spent is
480.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's appalling.
Anyone who watches this show, or
No,
particularly our patrons, will have heard me going on, still questioning Marcel Brands every day.
I know. There's no.
How the hell have we got no athletes?
No, you're absolutely right. You do, and I'm not saying, I'm not putting the two things together.
No.
I'm just saying that there's a disillusionment of fans, and they're within the rights to do it. It's like when people tell other fans that they shouldn't be disillusioned or they shouldn't have a go at this person. I think that's what I'm saying. We are a club of conflicting,
they're so good at
standards.
Do you know what the problem is, right? I was talking to someone yesterday about the problems with Everton, and he said to me, and someone who I'm not going to name names, but someone who knows a bit about the inside workings of the club, and he was like, it's basically 3 clubs in one, and that's the problem.
Yeah,
this doing something, that's doing something, and this is doing something. Whereas other clubs, like your Manchester Cities, have all going the same way.
But we said that from day one.
Them, sadly, they do things that all go the same way.
We said that from day one.
United are a bit like us on a grander scale. They've got 3 different things going on, so why they never really
look at Liverpool, right? I seen people the other day laughing, going, look at Liverpool, they've had this delay with the ticket thing. They did 2 test events.
And it was reduced. The time is reduced.
Our test events will be at the match on Saturday. And everyone, and I really, really hope it doesn't go tits up, right? But if it goes tits up, everyone will say, we knew that was going to happen, because it
might not, though.
No, it might not, and I really hope it doesn't, because I
hope it doesn't, because I want to get in the game.
We know there are good people who work for Everton, right? Who work dead hard and do a great job.
Yeah, and above and beyond, yeah.
And they do really well. But there's something within Everton, and I've said this for ages, and people on Patreon will know, I've said this for ages. There's something at Everton that just stops us doing stuff their basic way. Like you've just smashed the nail on the head there. 3 clubs in one. There are forces that work within Everton and they're not opposing. This is the thing. They're not even opposing forces. They're not opposing forces. They are people that have decided that this is the way we're going to do things, and they're actually in harmony. But the things prove that they don't work.
Yeah.
So it's not like, listen, for years you would have had people at Everton Football Club or other clubs that are trying to grab it from each other and go, I'm the power of it, I'm the power. We seem to have a board that are all pally-pally with each other. People like Marcel Brands doing their job. And it doesn't work. It clearly does not work. But yet that's the structure they decided that is going to work. And it doesn't work. And this is what I think's mad. At least if it was like, I want to be in charge, or I want to be in charge, or I want to be in charge, then you'd go, just weed out the bits that don't work. At Everton, they're like, we're dead happy with this. And that's what I don't get. It's like every year we sit around going, lads, this is not working. This thing does not work. But you continue. But what they think, that genuinely, it seems like they genuinely think that the way they're doing it seems to work. And we can all go, it doesn't work. But unfortunately, we're powerless. Yeah. What they're doing with the stadium works. That's worked fantastically. Yeah. They've done amazing. Do that over there. Do that over there. Put Colin Chong in charge of everything.
Yeah.
Let him run the club.
You use your Toffee picks login. Everyone who played Toffee picks, your login is exactly the same.
I've just had a little go at it. And effectively what it is...
We need to do a video tomorrow.
I know, I'm just going to quickly tell you. You get like a pack. You get like a pack like at in FIFA.
Oh, okay.
So you get a pack and you get players, and then you put the players.
Ned, sorry. Ned, can you put the link to the have you done it in the description?
So I've just got
description.
Yeah, it's in the comments as well. Keep put it in the description.
I've just got Alan, Thiago Silva, Max Aarons, Nakamba, Cathcart, Haygarth, Maybury, Martelli, and Odubeko, and the team Newcastle, which is terrifying. And then what you do then is you drag the player into your team in those positions, and yeah. So basically, you have like a midfielder. So you get 3 midfielders in your team, a defender. So I'm going to put Max Aarons in. I'm going to put Silver in. Let's have a look. What other midfielder? Put Allen at defensive midfield. Who's my striker? Martinelli. Put him as striker. Team is Newcastle because that's the only team I've got. And the other midfielder is the kid from Man United. And then, yeah. And then I think what you can do is you can buy more packs.
If you want to.
For better players.
Oh, my pack's not good.
I'll have a look. I'll look at mine in a minute.
Divine from Tottenham, some child. Nathan Ferguson.
So you can buy more packs. The packs are not available at the moment.
Jack Cork.
And you basically buy more packs.
So it's free to play, so you may as well log in and play it, and it'll be a laugh. And we'll do it tomorrow on the video, pick our team, and then we'll see how we get on. So make sure you do it. The link is in the description. It's also in the comments. Paul's just back in the comments there, just because obviously I asked him about certain things. I'm not saying after 50 years you should walk away from Everton. I'm saying if it made me that, I'm not talking about you, Paul, especially. I just want to see on social media that people are that negative and that angry and that despondent. Is that you have to have a little bit of hope, surely, when you go the game. You've got to, because otherwise, what are you putting yourself through it for? But listen, Ped will tell you, no one moans more than me. It's just that by the time we come into the studio to do stuff, I've had a little think about it, I've calmed down a bit, and we have to be a little bit different. It has to. I like to think about it.
I think the problem is though, is that for us, we sort of have a better understanding of what's going on, and I think if you mix the fact that things seem shite, and if you don't quite understand, like, if I was in the kind of links that we get linked with every day, it would become quite confusing. Whereas we sort of understand that,
we just get told
what's going on, and it must be horrible.
I hate the fact that I'm like you, Paul. To be honest, I'm so frustrated that we haven't just been able to go and get a right back. It just winds me up because we have had money and we have. But I don't understand how when you're sat in March or April looking at what you need, why that deal isn't done in May. If you've identified a player.
Oh, no.
And I don't understand how I would do it if I was a director of football. I'd have a list and go, if I can't get A, I want B. And if I can't get B, I want C. But they all have to do a similar job.
No.
And then I'd go and get it and go, we need that right back. And I'd get the right back and go, where are we now? If you're cash rich, which means you can spend it all like that, then you can then move on and on and on. But when there's a big hole in that area of the team and you allow it to roll on and roll on, it confuses me.
I think everyone deserves to be questioned at Everton behind the scenes. I think
so
everyone
annoying.
deserves to be questioned.
So annoying.
The problem is that the club is the communication. This is one of the things I was saying before, Basil, when I did the live show, right? What Moise Keane said yesterday, right? So Moise Keane writes something back soon and deletes all his pictures, and everyone instantly thinks it's a negative. And the irony is that lad has got the chance to put that right because he's communicating with us, but his communication is so poor that he's led fans to think that he's going, because our mindsets are that he's going. Where he deleted all his pictures, he deleted all his Paris Saint-Germain pictures. It basically, to me, what it was saying was he ain't going back to Paris Saint-Germain.
It's a fresh start.
And it's a fresh start. He's got the chance to actually. So in the last few weeks and months, we've had players come out after Euros, telling their side of the story, going, "This is terrible, that is terrible." We had Mings basically say to Priti Patel, "Who think you are? Last month you were telling everyone to have a go with us, and now you're trying to get on." Marcus Rashford telling the world this story and being brilliant. We've got, I think Van Dijk came out and said to someone, "What's the story you've wrote about me? It's utter." He said about the Dutch guy, I think, saying he was disarming or something, and he came out and went, "What are you talking about? You're lying." And Moise Keane there put something on social media, and it's a complete mixed message because he's done something cute, and no one knows what it means. And because we are in a state of frenzy, it's like, mate, you could have just come out and said something like, I'll be back in training this week, can't wait to see you at Goodison Park. Boom, everyone feels boss. Moise Keane can't wait, because that's what we're like as fans. If Moise Keane had said, can't wait to pull on a blue shirt this weekend, everyone would be like, is right, Moise, we're behind you. Because when you play for us, we're behind you. But he didn't. He put some stupid cryptic message out. And all it needed was someone to go at Everton. Clear that up, lad. But then Everton are the worst communicators in the world. Literally the worst communicators in the world. I've never known a club to bury its head in the sand so much than our football club. It would rather bury its head in the sand than face a problem. So today everyone's like, what's going on with these tickets? And it's phone the fan centre. Poor people who work in the fan centre are probably inundated. And all it would take was one tweet from Everton saying, this is the problem. But they don't. They bury their heads and act like kids. Act like those fellas who say they're going to come on a night out, say they're going to be there at 8 o'clock and don't show. And then ring you the next day and going, oh, so-and-so happened, so I couldn't come out. Instead of just going, can't come out, mate, sorry. It's pathetic. The whole club's communication is abysmal. Yeah. Even when we were in America, we didn't even have a microphone. That's how bad that communication is. We didn't take a microphone to America to interview players.
Could have bought one.
Oh my God.
Could have gone to the thingy.
Anywhere.
What we used to have here.
Yeah. The Walmart or the
Walmart, but the
Best Buy.
Best Buy.
Could have gone anywhere.
Best Buy's right by Universal
The communications
Studios
of our football club are absolutely horrendous. Horrendous. It's pathetic. And yet, see what they were advertising for last night? PR. Director or PR, and I was like, me and Baz will do that on the side.
It is frustrating because we do, like I said, I sat there today and they were talking about what Villa are doing right and how Leeds have got this thing, and you've got Gary Neville saying, "Oh, Everton, you want them to do, you want them to like kick on. They've got a good like money and they've got this, that, and the other." And you're like, "Yeah, I do," and he's like, "But still confused." Yeah. What are you doing? Like, do you know what? And it's like, you going, well, no one, we're hoping to see. And he's like, you're still hoping to see. Like, and Everton, like Jamie Carragher's going, Everton. And Everton should be in Europe every year.
The stadium break ground. We get a 6-minute interview of Graham Shark, the fella from Lango Rourke, and another fella.
From Peel.
We get a 3-minute video from Denise Barrett-Baxendale, and we get a 3-minute video from Bill Kenwright telling us exactly what's going on, and that's brilliant.
That's great.
Lango Rourke and Peel are like, this is boss, this is what's happening, that's what's happening. Graham Sharp's telling us everything.
So why can't we do that with the football?
Exactly. Like, the stadium stuff is amazing. They've got everything right. This is what burns my head out, Baz. Is that they can get everything right on a stadium from day one. And I'm not just talking about communication, I'm talking about the whole lot. The stuff that has gone in to getting this stadium built has been incredible. The lengths this club have gone to, and yet the other side of the stuff, the actual day-to-day football stuff, the other stuff they've been doing since 1878. Like this stadium lark, this is quite new. The other stuff that they've been doing for years, how can you not get it right? How can you not just tell the fans what's going on? And that is what I think burns my head out and burns a lot of fans' heads out and burns your head out. But it feels so muddy that it's like you can't even get to the bottom of it.
You can't get to the bottom because you don't know who's driving what. Yeah. We've got a director of football. Is he director of football?
Is he director of football?
And I've said to you before, he was happy to sign another contract. So if he was happy to sign another contract, that tells me he's happy with what he's allowed to do. And if he's happy with what he's allowed to do...
Tell us what he's allowed to do.
Then what I'm saying to you is, well, you're the director of football and you're in charge of transfers, and I can't see a midfield full of runners. We're in the Premier League, which is power and pace. Where's all our power and pace? You've got Richarlison, but that was Marco Silva involved as well. We've got, where is it? Where are these players that are 5-10 million that we can sell for 50 million?
And on the flip side of that, right, and this is the most important thing, this is the most transparent era of football ever. Right. Paris Saint-Germain in the last 24 hours have put literally a video out for every part of the Messi
Messi
signing.
thing.
It's incredible access to what, and it's what you would want if you were a Paris Saint-Germain fan, or what you'd want if you were, if you're just want to look at how this deal got done. And they've put every part. It's unbelievable, and they're giving him. He's getting interviewed by Paris Saint-Germain. Will get every single reputable person, because to them this is the gold standard. This is the one that suddenly gives them the credibility as a football club where everyone's laughed at in the past. Like Everton lost their one of the director of recruitment from the academy. Not a word was said. No one comes out and says it, and yet we all know, because we've all got the internet. We've all can see Tottenham have appointed this fella, so therefore it's out there. But Everton don't come out, because it's almost like, if you don't say it, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the same with everything. We are now living in an era where we know the ins and outs of everything that happens at football clubs, but we get it second-hand information. Yeah. So therefore, the club have got a chance to come out before everybody else and say, this is what happened, lads. This is what happened. Do you know, when Richarlison went to Euro, went to the Copa, do you know if they come out and gone, we've give commission, but you know he's going to be available for the first game, don't you? Everyone would go, Sam. I know everyone would have been sitting there going, don't get injured, don't get injured, don't get injured. But everyone would have been...
But we've had a nice big boost now for Saturday.
Well, yeah, possibly. Reverse psychology, I like it, but I like it.
If that was the thought.
Yeah, if that was the thought. And I know they've done a nice thing for him today, and he'll be available for Saturday. But these are easy wins.
Yeah.
These are easy wins.
No, I know
you're not. These are easy wins.
Yeah.
These are easy.
There's so many basic things that Everton do wrong.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating. I've said it before. The only time I ever heard anything from Marcel Brands is through football, which is interpreted by Sports Witness. Because he doesn't talk to us, and he's our director of football. So people will fill in gaps. People will get frustrated because there doesn't seem, and yet I know for a fact there's some great people who work on the football side of it, but
we know there's great people who work at Everton Football
Club.
Other
people are letting them people down, and that's what's annoying. And at some stage, something's got to happen where we can follow the breadcrumbs.
We're a football fan. We've got a football base. We've got a fanhood here that lives on every word. Right? We see it every day. I see people every day go, you said on this date that we were going to do this or we were going to do that. People remember everything that we say, never mind everything that the football club says. We are a football fan base that is absolutely craves it. And sometimes that can be at the detriment, or a lot of the time that can be at the detriment, because things don't get fulfilled, or things don't happen, or we do whatever we do. And that's why the stadium, for a lot of people didn't think it was going to be real. Yeah. Because a lot of people were like, well, we're just waiting for the inevitable to happen. And that doesn't help when you have certain people putting out articles saying, well, we still haven't done this or we still haven't done that. Oh, well, Farhad Nashiri wasn't done. You're playing into the negativity. This football club has got the potential to be anything it wants. It still has. It doesn't matter about Paris Saint-Germain or Manchester City. It still has got the potential to be anything it wants. But it doesn't want to. It doesn't want to be these things. It doesn't want to be.
Or does it, but it's not doing what it needs to do. And that's, again, communication. Isn't it? It's City. And listen, we could do this to the death, couldn't we? Man City wanted to become the best team in the Premier League and Europe, and they're going after it. Everton Farhad Nashiri makes the right noises, but the club don't demonstrate that. And why don't they demonstrate it? It's difficult. Don't get me wrong. It's difficult to be Man City because of the rules. But let's try to be a bit like the other way then, a bit like Leicester and a bit like them and let's try to do things the other way and be smarter what we do until the rules do change. I mean, Steve Kelly's just sent me something saying Sky have said the financial fair play rules are now open to interpretation. That's what UEFA have said after the Messi deal. But it's not the Premier League yet.
Not the Premier League.
But once that FFP... And Gary Neville said something today, and I think we'll have that video out about... Because I asked him about the profit and sustainability, and he was like, it's got to change.
The irony is, and we've said this, is that maybe Everton are hiding behind these things. Maybe Everton don't want to spend big this summer. Maybe they're just hiding behind. They want to get their own house in order because of the stadium. But... Again, what you're doing is you're blowing smoke up fans' arses.
Yeah.
You're selling them a dream that isn't there. You're selling them something. You know, when Benitez was brought in, my idea was always, and it still is Is the owners protecting the asset for 3 years to get into the new stadium? If that's what it is, then say it. Stop blowing smoke about it.
He won't say it.
No, not in those terms.
I don't think he'd say that.
What I mean is that...
Because I think his ego wants Everton to do well.
Of course
because he's an owner. And he's got his mate who...
But it can't do well under these circumstances.
No.
So put a bit of realism into it and just go, I trust the manager to get loads out of this summer with these players, and then next season, when we feel like after... come out and go, you know what? COVID has crippled us. It's absolutely crippled. No, why? Because you fans are the beating heart of this football club, and you bring money in, and without you, we're nothing, and so we can't spend this summer. Or we can only spend... Or we're being clever this season, but next summer...
Well, again, this is just because it's fresh from today. Gary Neville, as an owner, today was like, it's dead. Yeah. He said the market, he said, I'm trying to bring players in for Salford. He said, but no one's doing, even loans. Yeah. He said, because there's no money around. He went, we're waiting for something. He said, and then I think Jamie Carragher chipped in and said about Liverpool. He said, because loads of Liverpool fans are moaning. He said, well, what Liverpool have done is give some of their players new contracts. And he said, if you actually see the sums, he said, Fabinho's just got a new contract. That'll cost Liverpool something like £37 million. He went, that's a player. Yeah, but what they've done is they've given it to him over the contract.
And this is where it's quite interesting. When I think we said this as well, when we said about bringing players in, why did we go for Townsend? Well, Townsend was there and he was ready to go. And it was like, well, if we can get in him, then we can get rid of Bernard and we've made money. But if we wait, don't forget our squad's not, it's not massive anymore. It's quite flimsy now. So when people say, get rid of Delph, Gomez, and say one more, what if you can't replace those 3 players? Yeah. Then you've left yourself in a dangerous position. If you can't bring players in, guaranteed.
I think what I have to say though is, I have to say this: if the window shuts without a right back in, then I'm sorry, but for me, Brands needs to be looked at.
Right back is
because and Mashiri and the manager.
Yeah, it's despicable.
Because I love Seamus Coleman. I know you love him as well. And I think for 15 games, he'll be sound over the season. No issue. I've got no issue in starting Saturday, Seamus. None whatsoever. Because I know that early on, he'll be sound. But you can't expect in the Premier League nowadays, a 33-year-old right back who's had his injury problem to run up and down, especially because it'll be warm in the first few months. Muscle injuries happen. You can't expect it. And then if he gets injured, we're going, John Joe, the way you've got 10 months left on your deal and you're not good enough. Come and fill in. Because then, I'm sorry, I don't mind bringing Andros Townsend in, and I prefer Leon Bailey. I've said it a bleeding million times. I don't mind us bringing Damari Gray in because I think he could be a wild card that you're not expecting. But for God's sake, at least arrest the issue in this. If you've got the
biggest problem,
I've been saying it
for 18 months.
Help the bleeding lad out.
I've been saying it for I've been sitting here for 18 months while everybody else has been telling me about these amazing, which we do need those amazing players, of course we do. But we need a right back and we haven't done it. And it's a disgrace. It is a disgrace, absolute joke that we haven't brought a right back in.
And that to me pisses me, and I don't like swearing on, and I apologise, but it pisses me off because it's like your house being on fire and in that one room and you're going, it's all right, I've got good frigging protection on that room, it won't burn for ages, we'll carry on watching telly in it. No, go and put the fucking fire out.
It's like having a fire in your house while you're building an extension.
It's just, it annoys me because it should be addressed any way we can, and if it's Dalot's on loan, go and get him. Go and get him.
I remember the big discussion when Sidibe was on loan, and it was, do we pay the 12, 15, whatever it was?
12 million, yeah.
Or do we spend it on a different right back? And we didn't sign anyone. And that was, 2 years ago?
2 years ago. And Sidibe done all, but that should have told everybody, told us as fans, it told us who paid the money, that we weren't happy with the right back situation, because we had Seamus and he was 2 years younger. Yeah. So it showed everyone we weren't happy with it. And yet what have we done? We've done nothing in the time. And people can say put Godfrey at right back, put Holgate at right back, but they're not what we need. No. Ben Godfrey wants to be a centre-back with pace. Well, he doesn't want to be pace, he is pace. But he wants to be a centre-back. Go and get a right back who can play there, protect Seamus, use him, sparingly so that we can get the very best out of Seamus Coleman. And let's try to take the team forward.
Since we bought Sidibe on loan. In the same summer, we spent money on Delph. We spent money on Gabamin.
Yeah, but Gabam, I can understand
Put it
that.
this way.
And then the next season, we bought another two centre
Put it
mids.
this
So
way,
how much
like,
money we
when
spent
we
on centre
bought
mids?
Dean, and everyone thought there's going to be a crossover here. Baines
out,
played
but
about
then-
3 more games,
Yeah,
and
then he
that was
gone.
only because he got sent off,
Mm.
and that was it. And then Baines had 1 more season and retired, and that was it.
And he was great when he played Baines because he didn't have to play every
and that
week.
will be. And no one thought any less of Baines.
No.
No one thought any less of Baines.
Still
We all
love
love Baines.
now.
We were all gutted when
And we
he
still love
when he
Coleman.
didn't sign a contract.
We'll still
But the
love
simple
James.
fact is, if we had a right back that could mirror our left back, we'd be
But the team would be
so
much
much
the left
better
back
team.
the left back would be better.
The
We'd all
team
be
would be
better.
so much
Team would be
better.
better.
If
Would be
your
much
right
better.
winger would be better, everything would be better. And that's not us bagging Seamus out, not at all. Seamus is fantastic. What a fella. Love him. Love the bones of him. Made up he's here. Made up he's staying. But please help the lad out. Go and do that. And if I had my way, we'd have a ball carrying midfielder brought in, 100%. Someone who could travel with the ball. We'd have a winger who's got real pace. And then you'd look and go, you know what? All of a sudden, this team now, for me, I'm telling you, we are definitely going to be in the fight for that European place. Definitely. Because we've got him and him added to what else we've got. And we've got goals at the top end of the pitch. And that should be. And listen, for all I know, that's exactly what's going on in Finch Farm. They're going, we need him and him. And to get them, we might have to wait until August the 30th. But by August the 31st, we'll have what we need. And we'll all feel happier. But right now, that's where we're up to. And people have got the right to be frustrated by that because we have ballsed it up so much in 5 years. We've spent 480 million. We started 11th with 480 million. And we've had 10th, 12th and 10th. The mean of that is 11th. So we started in 2016, we started spending money. And we've spent, don't care what we've got back, because we've got 200 odd million back. I think we spent 230 million or something net.
Right? You spent 400 million on
money
players
to get 11th, which is where we are. And now, that's what I've said right at the very start of this, for the manager to squeeze every drop out of this lot. Every drop. And give us those percentages we need. But that, Marcel Brands, Farhad Moshiri, Denise Barrett-Baxendale, Philip Carter,
Maggie Thatcher! Maggie Thatcher!
It's on them now to get us what we need. And first and foremost, it's a right back. And if we can do that, I think everyone will start feeling happier. And I get that. But just for this weekend, because we've only got what we've got right now, we've all got to go in there and get behind the lads and get the 3 points. And if we do that, we'll be sat here next week at least a bit brighter, and hopefully some players will go up, because the last couple of weeks will be when teams might look at some Everton players and go, you know what, people in Portugal might be looking and going, Andre Gomez, he'd be all right for us in midfield. We might be able to get him out of Everton for 5-6 million quid, whatever it be. And that means Everton can triple that to 18 million and get Matheus Nunes if that's what they wanted to do. And we might see a little bit of that. And someone might come in and go, Moise Keane will pay 7 million for a loan this year with an obligation to buy for 35 million next summer. And Everton go, right, sound, because we can actually... Because we're getting that
the obligation to buy
June the 30th means we can spend that money now, which means that we can then buy 1, 2 and 3, and all our squad is boss. Oh, sorry, hang on, rephrase that. Our squad is better than what it is now, and that might happen. And that's what we have to, again, going back to the thing of hope, that's what we have to cling to. Because if we throw our toys out the pram and go, this season is finished, it's dead, it can look very different. We keep quoting it. 2013 transfer window when we got Lukaku, Barry and McCarthy on the final day. Things can change a squad, and that's hope. That's what I hope for. So I do get the frustration, Paul. I'm just saying, try to look for a little bit.
We got
of
all the
hope
3 kits out of
well.
someone. I think it was Paul Hughes who pointed out we got all 3 kits out before the beginning of the season.
And the kits are nice.
That's a bonus.
The kits are nice.
And Astro, you're absolutely right, mate. The communication's been abysmal since Alan Myers left the club.
Yeah, they've never replaced that. Well, maybe never replaced Ron.
Should never replace.
Oh,
Had to replace him.
We've never replaced that. Should never
have
have needed
got rid
to.
of him or whatever.
Listen, do us a favour. Just hit the like button.
Yeah.
We've had a few reds in as well, giving it the arm. But just hit that, because listen, if it doesn't get enough likes, we'll just stop doing it. No, seriously, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget, we do this every day on Patreon if you fancy
Every day
becoming
on
a patron. But two things, pretty please. One, hit the like button and subscribe. And the second is download the Ultimate Fan. Because loads of you played the Toffee picks. It's free. This will be the same. It's a cash prize and everything, isn't it? So it's free to play. So download it. Use your Toffee picks login. Get involved. We'll be doing a video about it tomorrow when we pick our team for the week. Thank you very much. Take it easy. See you later.